Buyers facing homelessness. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. I've got my stein of coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article from Domain, which is discussing Melbourne buyers that are facing homelessness. Now, we've looked at other articles just looking at the human impact of the real estate lockdown in Victoria. Essentially, you can't do one-on-one private inspections, which seems insane considering the fact you can go to the shops and an inspection of a property can be very controlled. So, no normal person will be buying property sight unseen. No reasonable person. Sure, you've got some unicorns or some oddballs that might do it, but we're talking normal people here, guys. And that's having an impact. It means people that are desperate in need of the value that they've got in their house can't sell. Maybe they want to sell just to get out of the trap they're in. Maybe they've already sold and they're trying to buy somewhere else and they can't do it. So they're potentially going to be homeless. It just shows you. I know it's hard for people to feel sorry for real estate agents. I know it's difficult, but there's a human side to these things too. So, a Melbourne buyer could become homeless due to a ban on property inspections. I mean, can you even send someone to do a defects inspection on a property or building and pest? Tina Dimovska's worst fears is becoming homeless. But in 2 months' time, it's exactly what she could be forced into because of Melbourne's current real estate shutdowns. Well, Tina, what you should do, you need to look at the stoic approach to life. You should probably try some homeless, simulate some homeless. Just sleep rough, even in your backyard. Sleep outside. Expose yourself to your worst fears, and then you'll overcome it, or you'll be prepared. You'll see you can cope with it. That's probably not the best the advice most people will give, but that's traditionally what people will do. Or at least in the stoic approach. Go without food, wear some ragged clothes. If certain fears or concerns, you're worried about losing these material possessions, or your life would be over if you didn't have this, or you didn't buy that, or you didn't subscribe to that. Sometimes when it's all yanked away from you, you can realize that these things are a weight on you, a stress induction on you, and just weigh you down and ruin your life. That's why sometimes going through great hardship can be the best thing that happens to someone. And that's why I'm hoping that people will come out of this economic decline that we're having, this recession or depression that we're facing, better for it. We'll have to see. Although, sadly, some people aren't really handling it quite well. That's where I encourage you to reach out to your friends. The Melbourne mother of two, with a daughter still living at home, is praying the Victorian government will ease restrictions and allow one-on-one inspections early so she can find a new home. I don't know where to turn, she told Domain. I am really stressed out to the max. She sold her 4-bedroom property in Wollert in August, literally days before Melbourne's Stage 4 restrictions were introduced. The restrictions, including the ban on private property inspections, were expected to end on September 13th. However, the ban has been extended for another 6 weeks until October 26th, leaving many in the lurch. Outside Melbourne, regional Victorians were offered some relief this week. Those living outside the metro borders will now be able to inspect houses by appointment and attend outdoor auctions after an announcement by Premier Daniel Andrews on Tuesday. Oh, there you go. Finally, some sense. But you can't go out of Melbourne to those outer regions, can you? They'll cap you with a fine. I think someone said, what was it? Escape from LA, Escape from New York, Escape from Melbourne. They're working on the movie. Under new rules, regional Victoria will move to its third step in the roadmap to recovery after new coronavirus diagnoses drop below 5 per fortnight in country areas. Ms. Dimovska will have just 1 month to find, buy and settle on another property, a task she says is impossible. Well, just rent one. I mean, it does pay rent for a few months. Say, okay, I want a 3-month lease in this area. That's not the end of the world. Does that seem that ludicrous, guys, as a solution to this problem? I've done the virtual inspections, but I need to know what it looks like in person, she said. One of the biggest concerns, apart from the welfare of her 16-year-old daughter, is her dog Max. Cats Tiffany, Hunter, and Nala, and Turtle Oscar, who all... they're pets. They're pets, they're not people. They don't count. Sorry. I know people love their pets, but that's life, guys. That's life. Humans become before pets. She fears having animals means she'll not be able to find a rental, even short-term, in a worst-case scenario. Well, so that's why she is afraid of the rental. Well, couldn't you put the pets in a pet hotel? Pay them to put them there? That's what we did with our dog whenever we went up to Queensland or on holidays. Just do that. I also don't want to rent because, number one, no one's going to give me a short-term rental, and number two, it's dead money. Oh, there's the fallacy. That's the thing. It's dead money. Renting isn't that bad, guys. We need to get out of this bloody mentality that renting is like a subclass of person. There's nothing wrong with renting. In some ways, it actually feels smarter now that I look at it. You know, I'm a homeowner. I got to pay my bloody rates. I got to pay all maintenance. And okay, I've got to pay a shitload of maintenance, and it's probably my maintenance is more renovation cost, we should say. You know, stripping and painting walls, but still, you've got all these costs just associated. You're meant to put aside 5% of the value of a property. Well, I'd say in Australia that really doesn't make sense. It should be 5% of the construction cost of a property. Let's say that. That would be more reasonable for the maintenance of a house. You don't have to pay that if you're renting. If you're renting, someone else handles all those things. And, you know, that's it. 6 months of renting may save her a lot of money. She may be able to look at other properties. The market may fall. But I know that's not what this piece is designed for, is to get an emotional response to kind of push for the market to open. And I can appreciate that. I appreciate why they're writing it like this. But I've had pets as a kid growing up. I want to get some for the kids. We just haven't gotten around to it. Not until we get the house sorted. Don't tell Rachel. I'll just come back with a dog one day. Actually, to be honest, I'd probably rather get chickens, because at least then you can eat them. The expense of renting would also take from her savings for a new home, she said. She's not alone in her distress. Domain has spoken to several people looking to either buy after selling or sell after buying a new home who are unable to do so because of the extension of stage 4 restrictions in Melbourne. I don't get this. Why the hell would you sell your house after you've already bought one? Why wouldn't you do it the sensible way around? That doesn't make sense to me. I guess, you know, I'm just not a sophisticated Melburnian property mungle or whatever. All have spoken about the financial problems they have, including concerns over not qualifying for bridging finance and their fears about becoming homeless. Many are frustrated that recent changes to restrictions allowing the use of outdoor playgrounds and exercise equipment, social bubbles during exercise for people living alone, which they feel highlight inconsistency within the rules. Oh, of course, it's all just made up. It's all just made up. And we've seen in previous videos I've looked at where, you know, calls to continue the Melbourne lockdown. There's no consensus on whether the restrictions are needed. Even if you go back to some of the earlier papers written when we had all these influenzas and things going around the world, still these restrictions are very old-fashioned. We've got better ways to deal with these things now. Furthermore, by the end of September, Melbourne dog groomers will be allowed to reopen, provided their work is contactless. Okay. I guess you could always just... Can't you just brush your dog's own hair, guys, really? How is that I guess it's... I mean, they're franchises of these bloody dog groomer things. I mean, good on people for making them coin. Good on them, I guess. But then again, I consider a pet a luxury item. It's not a necessity, is it? You can't really milk a dog or a cat. I guess it provides companionship, and for people who are lonely, it's probably one of the most important things. So that's probably unfair, what I'm saying there. It's probably unfair. I miss my little dog. I need to get a dog again. But when push comes to shove, they're not a human. Just remember that. Ray White Victoria Chief Executive Stephen Dullan said agents had received more than 100 of these types of stories from people in desperate situations across Melbourne. Many had been hoping for restrictions to end on September 13, allowing one-on-one inspections to go ahead. A lot of customers understood the first 6 weeks and held on, but the extra 6 weeks on top is really, really challenging for a lot of people, he said. Ray White and other major agencies in Melbourne had met with Consumer Affairs Victoria, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the Treasurer's Office over the past week to put forward their case for allowing one-on-one inspections. There's been some positive talk, he said. Meanwhile, the Real Estate Institute of Australia today joined a growing number of voices demanding that one-on-one inspections be allowed in Melbourne. It's our national experience that these activities have been undertaken safely and have mitigated risks of community transmission, REIA Chief Executive Adrian Kelly said on Tuesday. It is nonsensical that, as an estate agent, I will be permitted to take my pet pooch to the beauty parlour before I can show a prospective tenant or purchaser through a property in order for them to have a roof over their heads, he said. Ms. Dimovoska, who has already started to pack up her home, agrees. My settlement is on November 28th, and after that I'm basically out on the street. I don't understand why they can't open one-on-one inspections. They're allowing people to visit in a social bubble, go to the parks and playgrounds, and even dog grooming. At the end of the day, what's more important, someone being thrown out of their home or dog grooming? What do you think, everyone? Do you think dog grooming is more important than people being able to do real estate inspections? I mean, it all seems a little ludicrous, doesn't it? This whole thing seems very ludicrous. Almost like they're making it up as they go along. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or KuCoin. You can buy merch from Heiser Says, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.